Hello again. Thanks for joining us. This is part 2 of my conversation with Paddy Rasmussen, who told us last time that she lost her father and her husband in the same year, only 5 months apart, the two most important men in her life. I'm María Tomás-Keegan, your host for Tips of the Transition, and Paddy is one of the co-authors of a new book called From Resilience to Brilliance. And I'm honored to share these stories of these inspiring women just reaching out and rising up, because they help us to know that we are not alone. Thank you, Paddy, for sharing your story. As we ended the first segment, we mentioned that you experienced some emotions that affected your decisions. Can you help us understand that?
Absolutely. So many emotions. I was shocked. I was devastated. My husband of 16 years, father of my children, my lover, my confidant was gone. My best friend. I couldn't just pick up the phone anymore and call him or talk to him and you know, with team effort, make a decision on what was going on with our family. He was no longer there. And my dad wasn't, after 5 months, my dad wasn't there either to pick up the phone anymore and talk to me.
Yeah. So how did those feelings kind of manifest for you? And how did they affect the decisions you had to make for your family now?
Well, you know, when you first get struck with grief, you're really not sleeping well, and you don't really have clarity. You're sort of just kind of going through the motions of life. I would get up, you know, because I had to get my kids off to school, and you know, I went back to school after 2 weeks. My kids went back to school after a week after they lost their father. And, you know, we went through, you know, they were a blessing to me just to be able to know that I needed to get up for them. I needed to be their rock. I needed to be stable for them. I was the only parent they had left.
Yeah. And how did those emotions of loss and grief, and I'm sure you mentioned in the other segment there was some anger, how did those things affect the decisions you were making that you needed to make for your family?
Well, I needed to think about what would be in the best interest of my children. They were, you know, they needed a support system. They needed someone that they knew they could have and confide in. And I had to be the rock. I didn't have a choice. I had to take on all the responsibility and just create stability for them. That's what I tried to create. So I made the decision. I looked at my 12-year-old daughter and I made the decision that we would stay in the home. I would create stability for them, keep them in their lifestyle. And then when my daughter graduated from high school, we would sell the house.
Okay. All right. So how did you take care of yourself as you put yourself in that role of being the rock for your kids, and making tough choices, tough decisions as the head of household now, no one else to bounce things off of or contribute to the decision? How did you feel? How did you take care of yourself?
Well, I had to get used to being alone, first of all, and I had to learn to be alone. And I had to think about what was going to bring me joy and purpose in my life. And I had a physical outlet of yoga, which helped me through the process of being able to a healthy de-stressor, so I could breathe and let go of my responsibilities, empty my mind, and just breathe and go work through my yoga. And I had like an hour and a half to do that in those periods of time. And that was a great de-stressor for me, and that helped a lot. And I would encourage anyone to have those, a physical outlet that would help them through that process.
That's a great idea. That's a marvelous idea. I have taken up yoga in my later years. Did not do it for a long time, but I always like to take Epsom salts baths.
Absolutely.
And that was just a way for me to breathe and let myself go for 20 or 30 minutes at a time. Yeah, we all need that. You're absolutely right.
In our Western society, we're taught we need to stay busy. We need to be productive. We need to go, 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 go. But sometimes you need to listen to your body and say, no, I just need to just be. I need to take a little break. I need to drink water. I need to just breathe. I need to be out in nature. I need to, just relax a little bit, spend a little bit of self-love, spend a little bit time for myself, take some time to just find clarity and not think and just be.
Yeah, giving yourself a break from all of the responsibility that you now shouldered. I'm so glad that you found a way to do that. I know it has now been, it's about 9 years now, I think, since you're...
9 years.
And so as time has gone by, I suspect the lessons you have learned throughout this journey have come full circle for you. And I know that you now work with other people through similar periods of grief. And I want to get to that in our next segment, when you're going to tell us about those lessons that you learned and what you wish you had known before all this turned your life upside down, and how you might help others now with what you've learned. So in the next segment, wait for that. Stay tuned. I'm María Tomás-Keegan. Till next time.